If you're even thinking about moving to Mississippi, there's a good chance it's because you think you can save some money when you get here, and go down there and hit that like button if you want to save some money. And I want to help you understand one big part of maybe the money you'll save or the money you'll spend here in Mississippi, and that is going to be all the different taxes that you'll have. Now, I'm specifically looking at stuff that, generally a person owning their, single family residence home will be looking at. Some of it will apply generally, but I'm not looking at business taxes or rental property taxes or anything like that. That'll be in another video. I'm really talking to you if you're thinking about moving here to buy your house here in Mississippi. And I want to jump right into these, and we're going to knock the easy ones out first. The first one, it's simple. We do have sales tax here in Mississippi. It's 7%. And I think that's pretty reasonable, a little on the lower side compared to some of the other states. I know if you get up to, move this up here, if you go up to Tennessee, theirs I think will also say 7%, but when you really dig into it, it ends up being closer to 10. Here in Mississippi, we don't have a lot of those where, every place is going to have 2 or 3% they tack onto it. A lot of places you will just pay that 7%. Some cities and some certain industries will have a little 1% or something like that on top of it. But generally, if you go to the grocery store and buy, whatever, it's 7%. If you go to Walmart, 7%. That's your sales tax here in Mississippi. Another one that has really improved actually over the last few years, at least in my experience. And if you live here and you've got some experiences, let me know yours. I'm curious about this, but car tags, your car registration, when you go, whether you're just registering your current vehicle that you have, or if you're buying a new car and you go get that car tag for the first time and every year, you're going to pay that. And I will tell you, back in 2021, we got my wife a new car. It was a Ford Explorer. I think the MSRP on it was about $45,000. Well, we got to, now keep in mind, we've already paid sales tax on this. Sales tax on vehicles is 5% in Mississippi, but that's usually paid at the dealership. It's kind of financed into it if you're financing, but you typically pay that at the dealership. But when we got there to get our car tag, which you have to go get after the fact, that was over $800 on that car back in 2021. Now, that same car, when we renewed it this year, I think was $271. So it's dropped a lot in just 3 years, but I don't think that's just the normal drop. It always will drop, over time, because it's based on the value and the age of the vehicle. But it's dropped a lot more than that here in this instance, and that is because primarily they have a legislative tax credit. So the actual rate, if you look it up, will be much higher, but you get a legislative tax credit that drops it down a good bit, and they increased that credit. So that's why that was so much lower. And to give you another comparison, and this is in Flowood, so I'm paying city taxes in addition to the county taxes. So it is a little higher here in the actual city limits than if you go out, right outside, which is literally about 100 feet in that direction. But, is what it is. It's a lot cheaper if you're outside in the county. But I got a new truck, actually. So I got a new truck this year. The MSRP on that one was $65,000. And I don't know how they treat this, because I paid a lot less than that, because, the trucks are starting to stack up on dealer lots. So I got a pretty good deal. But, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm about to get hit here. That was $45,000 MSRP in 2021. And what's this one going to be? I'm going to be paying $1,100. And to my surprise, it was $389.64. So not too bad at all with that new credit. So it's still a little pricey. If you're coming from somewhere like Texas or Tennessee, where you have kind of a flat amount you're going to pay for that, it is a little bit more for that. I feel like this thing is just sinking down. I'm going to have to tighten some stuff up on this mic. But yeah, I feel like it's, obviously it's a little bit more than that on a newer vehicle. On an older vehicle, it can be a lot less. I mean, you can get an antique tag for $25. I think you have to be a vehicle over 20 years to get that. Real quick though, I want to say, hey, if you like seeing information about Mississippi, specifically, we're here in the Jackson area, make sure you get down there, hit that subscribe button, and click the bell. It motivates us to keep making this content for you. We appreciate it. We want to keep putting this out here for you. And as much as we love doing this, you see me, you see Charles, I'm in here in the office. Sometimes we're out showing you around different neighborhood subdivisions. We are in real estate. So as much as we love making the videos, we love it even more when we can help you make that move here or buy or sell real estate here in the Jackson metro area. And we've got connections all over Mississippi. So if you're going to be buying or selling real estate in Mississippi, because I've had people say, hey, I watched your videos. I loved them. We just moved here 6 months ago. Say, why didn't you call? Oh, we didn't realize you were a realtor. Well, hey, we are real estate agents with EXP Realty here in Mississippi. This is the number right here. You can call us, text us, email us, pause the video. Whatever you got to do, take that down. And we'd be glad to help you with whatever you got going on. And that is the best way to support this channel, because we don't really get ad money or anything like that. We make this content just to help you. And if you want to help us help you, then just hit us up when you got something to do with real estate that we can help with. But moving on to the big two, the first one is going to be income tax. Yes, we do have income tax here in Mississippi. Now, I know a lot of the states that are getting people moving to save money don't have income tax, like Florida, Tennessee, Texas, they don't have income tax. I get you in some other places. But we do have an income tax. I will say it's not that bad, but I want to break it down for you and help you actually understand this. And so I'm going to go over here to the Mississippi Department of Revenue website and some basic stuff you'll see here. So who should file? Anybody, any individual makes over $8,300 or plus 15 for each dependent, or a married couple that makes 16,600 plus 15 for a dependent. And they give you that breakdown, how you get to those numbers. You get a base $12,000 exemption if you're married, 6 if you're not, if you're just single. You get those, and then you get that $1,500 per dependent. And you also can do a deduction of $4,600. That's the standard for a married filing joint, or again, $2,300 if you're single. And so that's how you add those numbers up, that $12,000, that $4,600. That's how they got this 16,600. For example. But I want to break this down even further and give you some actual examples of how this might play out for you, just to give you an idea of what you would be looking at. So we're going to come over here to the iPad. So I'm just going to use a base sample, $100,000 income. And I've got two examples here, a couple with 2 kids. So, family of 4, or single with no dependents, just to give you a little variety in this example. So if you've got that, you do get that base $12,000 exemption over here. And over here is $6,000 because it's just one of you. So you get $6,000 exemption there. So we're going to take that off. And then after that, let's say you got the 2 kids. So that's $1,500 for each one. So we're subtracting that. Over here, I said you had no kids, so we're not taking anything else over there. If you do have a dependent single, you still get that. You can also file as head of household and get a little extra bonus there too. I'm going to try to keep this a little simple for you. There's obviously more we can get into here. But if you do that, you've got those, and then you have your standard deduction, which you can take, which is $2,300 if you're single and $4,600 if you're, again, 2 of you get to double it. And so you're going to subtract all that, and I'm going to do that for you. And when you do that, you're going to get $80,400 if you are that couple with 2 kids, married filing joint, or $91,700. And these are your taxable incomes off of that original income of $100,000 given these 2 scenarios. Now, I do want to say with this number right here and this one right here, these are standard deductions, and there are actually a lot of other things that you can deduct. And pretty much most of the things that you deduct on your federal return, with a few exceptions, you can deduct here in place of this $4,600, and you could get that to be much higher than $4,600 in some instances. So, if you're paying for child care, mortgage interest, you have other losses. There's a lot of things that you can get, and there's a sheet that I'll link below that's got everything that's taxable, non-taxable, and then everything that you can and cannot deduct. I'll put that down in the description for you to check out if you want to kind of go through that and see. But if you don't have any of that going on, maybe it is better for you to take the standard $4,600. But if you get you a good accountant, there's a good chance they can find you some other stuff there. So keep that in mind. But we're going to keep this simple again and stick with the $4,600 and the $2,300 for this to get to these taxable incomes. Now, what are the tax rates here in Mississippi? It's 0% for the first $5,000. It's 4% for the second. That should be another 0. The second $5,000. And then it's 5% of anything greater than the total of those, that 10,000. So anything over that first 5, you're paying first 5, and the second 5, you're paying 5% of that. So how that breaks down here, of our $80,400, we're paying 0% on that 5,000. Then we're paying 4% on the second 5,000, which comes out to $200. Pretty simple. And that's going to be the same over here. And obviously, the difference is going to come with that last 5%, because now just subtract 10,000. Maybe here 10,000 from that 80,400, because we've already kind of settled that part of it. It's going to give you obviously 5% on 70,400, and over here it's going to be 5% on the 81,700. So that's going to take our total taxable income, and that's how we break it down in the different tax brackets here in Mississippi. And for that 70,400, that portion is going to be $3,520, and over here, that 5% on that 81,700 is going to be $4,085. So when you add all that up together, you're adding the 200 and the 3520. That's 3720 on the same income if you are, again, a married couple, married filing joint with 2 dependents. And if you are just single and making $100,000, which, man, if you are single making $100,000 with no kids, you are doing great. So it's probably not going to hurt you to pay just a little bit extra, I guess, because you're going to come out to $42.85. So a little bit of a difference there, but it's not huge, really. I mean, we're talking about a little over $500 in your difference there on your income taxes. So those are the basics of your income taxes here in Mississippi. And I do want to say, if you have retirement income, Mississippi is a really retirement-friendly state. So if you got retirement, pension income, Social Security, all of that is not taxable at the state level. So you pay 0 on all that, no matter how much it is. It doesn't even factor into everything that I just laid out there. So there's a lot more to that too. And there's other circumstances. If you're a disabled veteran, there's some benefits. So there's a lot to go on there in your specific situation. So again, I'll put the number up again. If you have a specific situation you want us to help you kind of figure out what you're looking at, just hit us up at this number. We'll be glad to help you out to the extent that we can, or refer you to the right person. But to move on to the last category here, which is another one of the big, called the big two here, the most complicated, and that is property taxes here in Mississippi. And it's another one where there are benefits. If you're over 65, you get exemption. Obviously, you get a homestead exemption here, which drastically reduces your property taxes that you'll have to pay. If you are a disabled veteran, you do not pay property taxes in Mississippi. There's, we can help you again figure all that out. But generally, if we look at the broad scope of this, your average effective tax rate in Mississippi is about 0.75%. So if you've got a $100,000 house, $750 a year would be the average property tax bill here in Mississippi. Now, with that homestead exemption, it can be a good bit less than that. It can be more depending on where you are. If I jump over here just to show you, you see all these millage. These are millage rates for all the different counties in Mississippi. So they've all got different rates. And then there's also city millage rates too. If you're in city limits, those are going to be in there. There's a lot of situations, but generally Mississippi has some of the most affordable property tax rates in Mississippi. Now, if you want to kind of break that down further and kind of figure out how this might apply to your homestead, or maybe even to a rental property, if you want to buy extra rental properties, maybe for income, and what is the difference versus that homestead and the non-homestead, because if you look it up, it's a lot more than just the credit that they say you get, because they look at it totally differently. They tax at a different proportion of the true value. If you want to see all that, I've done a really detailed video where I did a lot of research, and you want to check that one out right there. If you're interested in figuring out how property taxes work in Mississippi, I explain it all right there. And so if you want to see it, I'll see you there.